Mercedes-Benz, a name that conjures up thoughts of quality and prestige, comfort, reliability. Unless, that is, you've ever been in an A-Class.
It was Mercedes' first ever small car, and initially it seemed very clever because it could accommodate 5 people in a shape shorter than a Ford Ka. But what really let it down was build quality, which in turn led to disappointed customers and bad satisfaction surveys. It did steadily improve over the 7 years, but now we have an all-new A-Class. So the big question is this the baby Merc you can be proud of?
To find out if the quality is now up to scratch, we're going to compare it with this, the SL, the Merc we most aspire to. There's an obvious price difference of about £50,000, but if you buy a Merc, you expect certain thunks and clunks of quality as standard. And I'm pleased to say those clunks and thunks are present and correct. Look at the details on each car in isolation and it's impossible to tell them apart. The A-Class is the one on the right, and the reason it feels as good as the car that's 50 grand more is down to Merc's new ergonomics laboratory. It's dedicated to making switches and surfaces feel expensive, and only when a blindfolded panel of 120 people were convinced did Mercedes consider the job done. The results are impressive, and if anything, the A-Class has a better fit and finish than the SL, with even closer panel gaps. The other weakness the old A-Class had was the way it drove. Ever since an early car rolled over in an emergency manoeuvre, Mercedes had to make a series of adjustments that made the car safe, but horribly rigid and uninspiring on a bend. The new car is wider and longer, so Mercedes has been able to give it the sort of ride that the original car was meant to have. Now, as well as new suspension, it's also got adaptive damping, which alters the shock absorbers depending on the road surface and the speed, and it works well. Now, over this really potholed, nasty tarmac, the ride is commendably smooth, but if I start to drive it like I stole it, then things firm up to boost handling.
At last, we have a baby Mercedes that's worth spending money on. Now, OK, it may not be as fun on the twisty stuff as the BMW 1 Series, and that's something which really floats my boat. But in a world where practicality is really important, the new A-Class is now too good to ignore.